Part 79. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 781. Even though she lived alone, she didn't treat herself badly. As for breakfast, it is of Western style. Bacon bun burger, then fried egg, sausage, milk. I feel very satisfied. The time today is also very accurate. She usually leaves home between 7:10–7:20. And these are all normal routines. Hiratsuka Shizu is used to this kind of life. But when Hiratsuka walked down the stairs, she was suddenly stunned because she found a student sitting on the stairs. He seemed to be playing a game with his head down, and some sounds came from his mobile phone. Hiratsuka Shizuka felt a little puzzled, but soon she discovered that the boy sitting on the stairs was wearing a Sobu high school uniform. Then, black silky hair, dark green pupils. Hey. This figure appeared in her dream even last night. And isn't this Oreki-san? Hiratsuka Shizuka instinctively took back her steps, then seemed a little overwhelmed, and then hid at the connection of the stairs. Call. After taking this action, Xiaojing breathed a sigh of relief when she found that the other party didn't notice her. But I soon felt very nervous. She quickly took out the small mirror from her handbag. I wanted to see if her hair was sticking up, and then look at the eyeshadow. No, she didn't use eyeshadow. So, why is Oreki-san here? After using the mirror to look at his own image and finding that there was nothing wrong with it, Hiratsuka Shizuka discovered that Oreki-san had no intention of walking away. So she walked down the stairs with a straight face. It seemed like he was going to walk right past Oreki-san. Because, even if the other party is here, it can't be said that he is just waiting for her. It will look pretentious. But she had only walked 2 stairs when Oreki-san suddenly turned around and said, "It seems right, it's really Teacher Jeng." Scared, Shizuka Hiratsuka was immediately startled. Because Oreki-san noticed her instantly. Why did you know it was me? Because I like Xiaojing very much, so I can even distinguish the sound of footsteps, Oreki said naturally because he had heard many love words from Sake Anaga-san. Well. But for Shizuka, today is also a day when Oreki-san is passionately pursuing her. P.S. It's the end of the month, please give me free blades. Ying. Chapter 371. I'm too stupid, this is what Unai-chan can do for you. Mr. Hiratsuka's standard outfit is black women's suit trousers, and then the upper body is a white shirt with a black vest. She looks different from ordinary female teachers who like to wear skirts, but she has a tall figure, so she looks good dressed like this. Look, what are you looking at? Teacher Hiratsuka felt that Oreki-san's eyes seemed to be on her, which made her very unconfident. Especially when I used a small mirror just now, I felt that 2 hairs became very bold after sleeping, so they would stick up. I tried hard to push them down. I don't know if any of them have curled up again now. Nothing. I just think Hiratsuka-sensei has a good punctuality habit. He must rarely be late, Oreki said. Well. Of course I know this kind of thing, Hiratsuka Shizuka said. And after saying that, she felt as if she lost the advantage of being an older person when she met Oreki-san. So he pretended to cough and said, "By the way, why are you, a student, here? Could it be that I came here on purpose?" In fact, Xiaojing was a little embarrassed to say the next words. Because whether it was the message he sent the night before, or whether he was waiting at the door of the office last night, there was a message. This guy might really want to pursue her. It's not like a truth or dare prank with friends or anything like that. Yet Oreki-san nodded. Because I saw Mr. Hiratsuka's car parked in the yard, and I thought I could take a ride there, so I came here to wait. Does that mean you didn't come to her specifically? It makes sense, because not everyone knows the location of her apartment. So I probably passed by chance. Why do you know that the car below is mine? Teacher Hiratsuka said. License plate number, classmate Oreki said. The license plate number of the ordinary car below was only one digit short of the one Hiratsuka-sensei had yesterday. Apparently, the numbers came out consecutively. For it. In other words, who is so rich and yet so bored that he just bought two cars at a car dealership, one more expensive and one cheaper, and then got the license plates directly? All right. She was indeed the one who did this. I'll drop you off at the intersection next to the school later. Hiratsuka quietly got into her black ordinary car. Oreki-san was sitting in the passenger seat. She pushed up the car window and stared at the car in front of her while waiting for the traffic light. Then he said, "Got it? What's wrong with just dropping me off at school?" Oreki-san said. Hiratsuka Shizuka. It must be very bad. Wouldn't it be misunderstood that the two of them came from the same place to go to school? Although now we are indeed starting from the door of her home. I just felt that if someone thought about it like this, Shizuka Hiratsuka would feel ashamed. It will be misunderstood, Hiratsuka Shizuka complained. Is there any misunderstanding? You are a teacher and I am a student, so even if a student rides in the teacher's car, there will be no problem, right? Oreki-san said. For it. It seems like this. Then there is no need to put me down in advance to avoid suspicion, Oreki-san said. Or, Mr. Hiratsuka, in your heart, you can no longer treat me as an ordinary student. For it. This and that. Hiratsuka Shizu began to make excuses. Because there are no ordinary students like you who send messages to the teacher at night. Then he didn't go home after school and was stuck in front of the office, and then he was stuck in front of his house the next day. If he wasn't good looking, he would definitely be considered a pervert. Anyway, she finally said. I'm Shizuka Hiratsuka. He looks so and is much older than you. And you still have a youthful and sunny future, so don't make mistakes. And teachers are here to guide students' work. I am very honored for this job, Hiratsuka Shizuka said. Although she was looking forward, every word she spoke made sense. Yes, however, Oreki-san nodded at her statement. So you agree, Hiratsuka Shizu said in a pretending to be relaxed mood. Actually that's not the case, because isn't Oreki-san chasing her very enthusiastically? If she was stopped by just a few words, it would make her feel a little unhappy. I agree. Teacher Hiratsuka is talking about his status. On the one hand, it uses other aspects of myself to attack me. Actually, I think what the teacher said is not quite complete. Oreki-san said this and took out a note. Write words on it? Hiratsuka-sensei's age isn't the only thing that can hinder people. With that said, he wrote on the note, older 30 years old, has bad taste, can't make up, don't use perfume yet, likes to smoke, also likes to drink. Uncle not honest. And then there's. Wait. Hiratsuka Shizuka couldn't calm down when she saw that he actually wrote out so many shortcomings. Doo-doo. And the sound of a horn came from behind. Only then did she notice that the front was ready for use. So he quickly started the car, but his mind was not on driving. No, it can only be done while driving now. She complained while paying attention to the road conditions ahead. Do I have so many shortcomings? Yes, otherwise why wouldn't I be married now? Ah. Teacher Hiratsuka's spirit seemed to be weakening. Don't talk about it at this time. I'm driving. It seems like getting married is really a big weakness. Therefore, although it looks very strong, but its weaknesses are so clear, the contrast is really cute. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 782. It doesn't matter to me that you hate these shortcomings, Oreki-san said. As he said this, he used a black pen to blacken out the shortcomings he had written. Brush. In Hiratsuka Shizuka's car, the only sound left was the sound of Oreki-san scribbling paper. Diddy. And her car finally arrived at the school. Make an arc in the parking lot and stop firmly. Beep. Only then did she realize that Oreki-san had blackened the paper. You hate these flaws, but I think it's okay. Because isn't this what it means to be inclusive? Oreki-san picked up the note and showed it to her. She had written more than a dozen of her shortcomings on the note before, but surprisingly, after Oreki-san blacked them all out, the remaining blank space in the middle actually said like. If you like someone, you can tolerate 1, 2, 3, or a dozen or even 20 of her shortcomings. Shizuka Hiratsuka, I like you, Oreki-san confessed. Teacher Jing felt that her heart and lungs were going to stop. Ah! Is it so deadly early in the morning? Is it actually possible to do this? She was feeling depressed just now thinking that she had been labeled with so many shortcomings. Anyway. We are in school now, don't be like this. Hiratsuka Shizuka felt that her chest seemed to be getting very restless. So you don't want this note? Oreki-san directly tore up the blackened note with his favorite written on it. Ah! Hiratsuka Shizuka shouted immediately when she saw it. What's wrong? Oreki-san said. No, it's nothing. Xiaojing felt very sorry. Because maybe it can be kept as a souvenir. Of course, it doesn't mean that she just likes Oreki-san. But I still want to keep it. Looking at her, Oreki-san sighed softly. What's wrong? Hiratsuka Shizuka looked over. I said, Teacher Jing, you still care too much about the identity of the teacher and constrain yourself by the identity of the teacher, Oreki-san said. I'm a teacher, so what's wrong with doing this? That's right. Oreki-san said, so, I won't be a student at Sobu High School anymore. As he said this, Oreki-san took out an application for withdrawal from school from his school bag. Passed it to Xiaojing. This, are you crazy? Hiratsuka Shizu just glanced at it and refused to pick it up. If you are pursuing me. Just to pursue you. Oreki-san said, if I were your student, I wouldn't be able to catch you. So, I won't be a student anymore. Hiratsuka Shizuka. Take this kind of thing back quickly. She said. You are still young and immature in thinking, so it is easy to be impulsive and do wrong things. And your parents won't agree. Hiratsuka-sensei said. Don't make it difficult for me. It shouldn't matter about this, Oreki-san said. My parents had a similar relationship with us in the past, so they were very supportive of me dropping out of school. Xiaojing. Isn't it normal thinking to ask the teacher to change careers? How can you let your children give up their future? How is this possible? And my parents don't object to me pursuing you, Oreki-san said. Ah, so didn't the problem of the relationship between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law be solved after getting married? I won't be asked questions about being much older than my husband. It's not right. What is she imagining? Cheer up. Anyway, I won't accept applications to drop out of school. Hiratsuka Shizuka quickly patted her cheek with her hand to wake herself up. Is it? But it can't be withdrawn anymore, Oreki-san said. Because the principal has already booked me into a university with a direct recommendation. And it's going to be announced soon. Hearing this, Hiratsuka Shizu tilted his head. Because I didn't understand. Although Mr. Hiratsuka asked what the recommendation for admission to university meant, Oreki-san did not tell her. Anyway, you will find out soon. He returned to the classroom. The students still had a lot of topics to talk about. Oreki-san seems to be someone who has not yet blended in. In fact, it doesn't matter if he doesn't blend in. Jingle bell. At this time, the assembly bell rang. Today is Wednesday. Generally speaking, this kind of bell is only heard on Mondays, and this kind of bell is specially used to let students go to the playground to gather for the principal's announcement. The rest of the morning time is basically used for class meetings. So now it is Thursday, and suddenly there is this ringtone that makes the students a little confused. Ah, microphone test. Now please gather the students on the playground. There is something to inform you. It was the voice of the dean. First grade class C is here. Why do you have to gather at the playground today? Ah. Who knows about this kind of thing? Ichiroha said. In fact, the person she was talking to now was a boy, an ordinary boy in the class. She is cute and is only called Baichi by the girls, so she is still quite popular with the boys. Is Heiki-kun. As for Rina and the others who went to the next city with Yuki Nashida-senpai yesterday, Rina asked for leave today, but the other 3 students did come. But although Yuki Nashida-senpai helped her get rid of the rumors that Kimura Ryo had told her before. But just as my brother expected, the subsequent solution was not good at all. Because even though they knew that she was not really Baichi, Rina's 3 classmates did not speak for her. He just looked at her slightly embarrassed. And when he met her eyes, he looked away. Some of the other girls who didn't know the truth wanted to glare at her. The 3 classmates seemed to want to help persuade, but they did not speak. Really troublesome. Is Heiki thought so. Then it was discovered that the rally was about to begin. As expected, she is indeed her Unii-chan. Students from 1st grade to 3rd grade gathered on the playground according to their class arrangement. Among the students, Ye Colorful, you saw a familiar and handsome figure at the front desk at a glance. Green pupils. That's her brother. Her brother stood next to the principal, or the principal seemed a little troubled and said something to him, but he shook his head firmly. Finally, the principal seemed to give up and said something else to him. Behind the 2 of them, stood a student from another school. It was a tall boy playing basketball. The reason why he said that was because he was wearing a basketball uniform. And this boy's name is Kimura Ryo. He is Rina's ex-boyfriend. Ah. And Rina's 3 friends also discovered Ryo Kimura's presence. He probably didn't understand why Kimura Ryo was there at all. And his expression became a little panicked. This will definitely be scary. Because when they arrested him yesterday, her brother kicked open the door of the basketball club, so he was very domineering. Yuki Nashida Yukino stood in the team of 2nd grade class J. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 783. Because she was in awe of the girls, she stood first in line. So she saw it clearly. At the same time, he also noticed the boy with green eyes next to the principal. Suino. This must be Oreki-san, is Heiki-san's older brother. Yesterday I only heard his voice and saw his back from a distance, but now I can really see him. When Heiki was slandered, Heiki said that he didn't want to tell his brother, but Yukino took Heiki to solve the problem. She also thought about what method she would use if Oreki-san was so confident and arrogant. And now, is this the way it is? Indeed, this approach exists. But how will Ishiro survive in school next? Yuki Nashida Yukino stared ahead. And the principal has spoken. Chapter 372 Mission accomplished. Go. Under everyone's gaze. I have a happy announcement today. But now let's do some introspection. Kimura Ryo from Flounder High School, please come over, the principal said. Ah, good. Kimura Ryo-san looked at the Sobu High School students in front of him. He is not a particularly confident or bold person, so when he saw so many students gathering, he felt a little timid inside. Come on, however, at this time, the scary boy who had just spoken to the principal came to him and gently patted his shoulder. This is your own salvation. Then. Don't let me use other methods, okay? Kimura Ryo. Oreki-san's voice seemed gentle and pleasant. But for Kimura Ryo, this is terrifying. So, he finally couldn't help it. Kimura Ryo tightened his grip on the microphone. Bend your body to 135 degrees. He blushed and then shouted. I'm sorry to Ishiroha, a classmate from Class C, first grade. I and her classmate Reina Takahashi were junior high school classmates, and I dated Takahashi Reina when I was in junior high school. After getting the news that she was recommended, I wanted to break up with Reina Takahashi because I didn't want to be called a scumbag. Male. So I deliberately forged information about Ichiroha chatting with me, and at the same time slandered her as a bitch to seduce me. So, such a smooth breakup. And this kind of thing has caused Ishiroha-san to be misunderstood and even ostracized. I'm very sorry. Ishiroha-kun, I am really, really sorry. I was wrong. Sorry. After Kimura Ryo finished speaking, he held the microphone and couldn't say a word. But the students on the playground below were in an uproar. Moment. The first grade classes all looked towards first grade Class C. The students in Class C of the first grade, both boys and girls, all looked at the same person, Iroha. Because I had an affair with my brother beforehand, Ishiki didn't know anything and panicked. Should say. Now is the time she needs to show off. Then she burst into tears. Yes, he didn't move at all a second ago, but now his emotions suddenly exploded. It was as if he had endured a huge grievance and could finally be redressed. So I cried extremely emotionally. Some girls who haven't reacted yet can't help but comfort her. Judging from the acting skills, it's probably a gold medal. Not inferior to Kushida-san at all. And after hearing Kimura Ryo's apology, some girls who simply thought Ishiki was Ike from Reina also became very embarrassed. Yuki Nashida Yukino watched all this. She saw that after Kimura Ryo said those words, he handed the microphone to the principal like an eggplant beaten by frost, and then stood behind him. Yukino was a little surprised, but judging from the way Kimura Ryo was patted on the shoulder by Oreki's classmate just now, it was impossible for Kimura Ryo to find out in his own conscience and come over to prove his identity to Ishiki and publicly apologize. In other words, this is probably the work of Izuroha's older brother Oreki Houtarou. Yukino felt that the other party's handling method was very overbearing. Even more domineering than hers. But she didn't like it. And I feel that this method cannot comprehensively solve the problem. Because the person in the current turmoil is a new schoolgirl, and such a schoolgirl is very fragile, so there is no way to stay lonely like her. Yes. Doing this would push Ishiki ahead of all the students. Although her name has been corrected, in the eyes of ordinary students, Ishiki will be considered difficult to get along with, and they may end up like her. Being ostracized by more female peers. If Yukino encountered such a thing, of course she might do this. Because she doesn't care what others think of her. But Ishiki is different. Ishiki's schoolgirl is probably the kind of person who still cares about whether there are people around whom she can talk to. So she dismissed the idea. In this way. Ishiki's older brother. Your approach is very immature. Yukino thought so. Because this is undoubtedly throwing my sister into a personal abyss, and everyone will reject her next. Thinking like this, Yukino suddenly noticed that after the principal took hold of the microphone, his straight face suddenly bloomed like a chrysanthemum. This sentence sounds a bit strange, but the expression on Mr. Principal's face can only be described as such. Because it blooms very brilliantly. Then, let's announce some exciting news. Mr. Principal said, Oreki-san, second year Class C of our school. Discovered to have outstanding talent for fine art painting. Recognized by Professor Sojiro, the master of light and shadow, in the painting world. Considering his future development, he was given the opportunity to be admitted to the national university without taking the exam. Professor Sujiro will give him special guidance there. Everyone, clap, clap, clap. The principal first took off the microphone and clapped his hands. Most students are surprised that their classmate has a talent for painting, but there are also many people who don't know how to paint, but they all know that National University is a very good local university, and they can be exempted from the exam and get admission there. The professor teaches in person, which is really powerful. By the way, Oreki Senpai is actually Ishaiki-san's older brother. During the clapping, after the clapping slowly slowed down, some students asked. Ishaiki nodded gently. It's indeed brother. Ah. The classmates originally thought it was difficult to get along with Ishaiki-san, but now they suddenly feel that they must get along well with each other. Suino. Yuki Nashida Yukino watched the commotion on the lower grade side. She almost laughed. Because Ishaiki's brother is really awesome, I thought he was too rude and arbitrary, and his sister would be ostracized for nothing. But now she actually uses herself to give Ishiroha the identity of the younger sister of the genius brother. In this way, no one will ignore her. And Yukeiyu is smooth, so her campus life can be said to be like a duck in water. Yukino admitted that it was very powerful. Wait. Yukino suddenly discovered a blind spot. That is what the president has announced now as a national university. As for the local national university in Chiba, isn't this the university where the outstanding sister Yuki Nashida Harano is studying? In other words, Oreki-san will go to the same university as her sister. And the other side. Hiratsuka Shizuka, who did not attend the meeting but was in the office, also paid attention to this meeting. Because she wasn't notified either. However, after hearing students from other schools publicly apologize to Ishiroha, Mr. Hiratsuka couldn't sit still. Because when she took Oreki-san to the next city last night, she heard what Oreki-san said about the bullying incident of Ishiroha. Then I thought that Yuki Nashida Yukino had solved it, but I didn't expect that Kimura Ryo was actually pulled back and apologized in public. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 784. This is obviously not what Yuki Nashida Yukino does. Because doing so would undoubtedly make it more difficult for Ishiroha to stay in school. Because she thought about this, she became concerned. Can't stay in the office. But even faster, I heard the good news announced by the principal. Oreki Houtarou was recommended to the university because of his amazing painting skills. Then she understood the meaning of the withdrawal application submitted by Oreki-san. It is true that he can drop out of school, because he is not a passive dropout, but a promotion. I skipped a grade and went to college. So this is a successful dropout. But this way, that is to say, he did it. He did it. He really severed the relationship with her teacher and student. I want to stand on the same platform as her. We can no longer reject him because he is a student. Did he? At this time she received an email. And this number is the number that confessed his love to her the day before yesterday. In other words, it is Oreki-san's number. I obviously blocked the other party's email, but I don't know how the other party did it and sent the message again. His message only has 2 sentences. Teacher Hiratsuka, we are no longer teachers and students. Therefore, I will formally pursue you next. There are no emojis added, but this way you can feel more determined. In other words, is it going to be formally pursued? She left. How to deal with this? Jinkia became super troubled and at a loss. I am very grateful to Sobutaka for giving me this opportunity. And here, I am very grateful to my head teacher, and also the teachers. Naturally, the principal also gave me a lot of teachings. On the playground, Oreki-san made a speech. Apparently just a courtesy. And here in the office. Mr. Hiratsuka, are you okay? While listening to the sound of the assembly outside, a female teacher suddenly noticed the state of teacher Shizuka Hiratsuka. Your face is very red. The teacher said quickly. Do you have a fever? Don't carry everything just because you are young. Ah. Yes, really. Is it very red? I think I'm in pretty good shape. Hiratsuka Shizuka quickly picked up the small mirror from the morning and looked at her face. Indeed. My face is very red. But she didn't think it was a fever or illness. Because. Now I feel very excited inside. Get emotional. Damn it. Calm down Shizuka Hiratsuka. Don't waver, don't waver. She knew that this must have confirmed that Oreki-san and her were no longer teacher and student. Then, they could no longer reject each other as teachers and students, or, restrain themselves. So. Be angry. Don't live up to expectations. So. Cheers. Ah, you are not 19 years old yet, so you can't drink alcohol, so just use coconut water instead. At Oreki-san's house, Ishiki's father and mother are celebrating. Because they were in a good mood, they specially ordered food from a star-rated hotel. Naturally, his parents still don't know that Ishiki was ostracized due to misinformation about Ike by his former junior high school classmates. So now everyone is celebrating Oreki-san's recommendation to a national university. As for Ishiki, her matter is no longer a problem. Now many people are looking forward to asking her for the contact information of her brother. There are really a lot of green pools. The brother's pair of Zishauru hanging at home was also judged to be worth a high price of 30 million yuan. This was despite the fact that the brother was not famous. So if you go to the famous large painting studio Master Sojiro and get the title of disciple, it doesn't matter whether your painting skills will improve, but the price of selling the paintings will definitely increase. This society has always been very realistic. It can be said that the Ishiki family should not encounter economic-related problems. Ani-chan, aren't you going to class today? The next morning, Ishiroha found her brother sitting on the sofa during breakfast, watching TV relaxedly. At the same time, he was not wearing a school uniform, as if he was not going to school today. I have dropped out of school, Oreki-san said. The principal said you can report to the national university any day of the week. Ah. Iroha suddenly ran from the table to the sofa and approached Oreki-san. Ani-chan, how did you do that? I also want to be exempted from the test, free of charge, and then be looked up to by others. Ishiki's voice made people feel a little itchy. In fact, this is nonsense. This sister is better than Sakayanagi-san. Oreki-san thought. But he felt that what Ishiki really wanted was the last words, to be looked up to. In other words, I just want to be as shining as the moon among the stars. Ishiki, it's not good to be too obsessed with fame and fortune. Oreki-san guided her. His mission is about to end, and he will leave later, so he gives this sister a final love education. Cut. But Yikoloryu frowned. Also, Ani-chan, I will be very troubled in the rest of my life. She said. Because I have a genius brother, I will bear the aura of my brother's excellence. I'm telling you, this is too much pressure for an ordinary sister. Oreki-san didn't believe her. She was obviously in a very happy mood. Anyway, Ishiki, go eat and then go to school. Oreki-san yawned and said. So what are you going to do today? Sister Zhang asked. Staying at home, of course. Then let's see if we can ask teacher Jing out, Oreki-san said. Meet Hiratsuka Shizu. You haven't given up yet, Ishiki blinked. How could you give up? It's better to say that now is the ongoing stage, Oreki-san said, and we are no longer a teacher-student relationship. Then we can pursue it normally. The progress of the task is 99%. What stands in front of the two people is probably their mismatched identities. Now this problem is solved, so as long as you go to see Hiratsuka Shizuka like you did before to see Yukino, then the task will be completed. Chapter 373 Mission accomplished. Next. Yes, Houtarou works very hard. Ishiki's mother came over with something at this time. If Iroha wants to pursue the teacher, then you have to work as hard as my brother. Puff. Ye colorful feather almost sprayed. No, 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 don't add this setting to your daughter casually. And I'm definitely different from Unai-chan. I definitely don't like older people, Ishiki said seriously. Really, so Ishiki doesn't like older people? Oreki-san looked at Iroha. And ye colorful feather happened to meet his eyes. She wanted to refute him, but was surprised to find that Unai-chan seemed to be more handsome. No, don't look at me. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 785. Ishiki said quickly. So, after a hurried breakfast, Iroha went out quickly, but came back quickly because he forgot to bring his lunchbox. Now it's time to actually go to school. Oreki-san was lying on the bed. Ishiki's mother was a full-time housewife, but she also went out for shopping at this time. And Ishiki's father also went to work, so now he is the only one at home. He clicked on the system. Main mission, fulfill Hiratsuka Shizuka's wish. Task requirement, marry Hiratsuka Shizuka. Task progress, 99%. Task reward, Lilica, you can designate a person to stop growing. The requirement at the beginning of the mission is to get married. But it's a pity. This Hiratsuka-sensei cannot fight at all. So now I probably only need to go out and see her once, and then the task can be completed. In this way. Afternoon. Oreki-san asked Hiratsuka Shizu out. Naturally, it is the time after school in the afternoon. I thought Hiratsuka-sensei wouldn't come, Oreki-san said. How could you not come, Hiratsuka Shizuka said. You suddenly said you were at the bridge or something. Then if you can't wait for me at 4 p.m., you'll jump off or something. This is very scary, okay, Hiratsuka Shizu said immediately. And the accusation is very strong. It is very stupid to threaten others by harming yourself, Shizuka Hiratsuka said. I see. It won't happen next time. Oreki-san apologized honestly. For it. What's wrong, Oreki-san asked. No, I thought you wouldn't be so honest, Teacher Xiaojing said. Because there is indeed no reason for you to continue to worry, Oreki-san said. No, 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 I'm not worried about you. So the teacher doesn't worry about me, Oreki-san seemed disappointed. Ah, that's not what I meant dash. Hiratsuka Shizu quickly comforted. But she soon felt like she was in trouble. But Oreki-san's mission has been completed. Drop. Congratulations to the host for fulfilling Hiratsuka Shizuka's wish. Will the task reward Lilica cards be distributed? Distribute. Oreki-san's thoughts moved and he immediately found a card similar to Klau's card in his pocket. That's the reward. Obviously. This Hiratsuka Shizu is indeed very unbeatable. But marriage is a knowing weapon for her. It was easy for him to end the mission like this, but it was quite pitiful for her. Not to mention getting married, not even proposing. And Oreki's triggering of this mission was also in the novel Sent by Megami, which is the post-war talk in Harmono. In other words, this is a world where Hiratsuka Shizuka did not get good results. Oreki. Think about it a little. Oreki-san gave in. He put his hand on the guardrail. So, Teacher Xiaojing, who is worried about me, will you consider taking me into your pocket? Puff. Hearing this, Shizuka Hiratsuka was startled. No, 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 how could I do such a thing? Hiratsuka Shizu said quickly. So. But Oreki-san suddenly held one of her hands. Then Mr. Hiratsuka, can you give me this chance? I want to have you in my pocket. Well. Xiaojing's eyes opened slightly. The shame is to make her feel that it is better to refuse at this time. But. I always feel that if I reject him here, then he will not propose again. Then she heard. I've been rejected by you many times. So after being rejected by you this time, I gave up, Oreki-san said. By the way, you haven't responded yet. I know, this is Mr. Hiratsuka's unique gentleness. I'm sorry for harassing you these days. Then, I hope that teacher can be happy with that said. Oreki-san let go of her hand and seemed to be preparing to leave. Wait a minute. Hiratsuka Shizu quickly took his hand. How? Oreki-san turned around. Didn't the teacher reject me? For it. Ah. Doesn't this force her to make a choice? Hiratsuka Shizuka had no choice but to be honest. Well, I really want to get married. But I don't expect to live a life of make-do either. Because, getting married is not an ordinary thing, but a commitment for the next half of your life. So this is important to me. So, it can't be possible for everyone. That's why I like you, Oreki Houtarou. Hiratsuka Shizu held Oreki-san's hands tightly. Crimson stained her cheeks, creating a great contrast to her image of being reliable, mature, and masculine. On the contrary, it makes people feel very cute. Originally he was going to propose to her, but in the end he was proposed to by her instead. Just now I just thought that maybe I could gain more experience in proposing to Horikita-san in the future, but now my experience is completely the other way around. Then, is that okay? Hiratsuka Shizuka found out that after he proposed, Oreki-san never responded. So, doesn't it work? Does the man have to come? She thought. Then Oreki-san held his hand in reverse. Sure. I look forward to Hiratsuka-sensei becoming an important person to me, Oreki-san said. Important person? Shouldn't she be his wife? Hiratsuka Shizuka's slender eyelashes trembled because she felt that this was different. Hello. However, while the two were talking, a police car stopped on the side of the road. A traffic policeman came down and said, "You can't park here." Ah. So the two of them had to leave here first. Teacher Jing took Oreki-san to a high-end apartment. The target is the 18th floor. This place is huge, Oreki-san said. Teacher Hiratsuka took out the room card and said, "This is my other apartment." Following the beeping sound, Oreki-san entered the door with her. The living room is very spacious. The area is about 400 square meters. There are 4 rooms, and also has its own balcony and swimming pool. There is also a gym. It's a good style. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 786. The environment of the apartment here is good, similar to the conditions of Shiena's classmate's house that he saw in his precognitive dream. The decoration style is also brighter and makes people feel very comfortable. I originally thought that if this was Hiratsuka Shizu's home, it might be more like that. It turned out to be surprisingly clean. Unlike the poor image given to people who likes to smoke and drink, Hiratsuka Shizuka is probably the type who is very good at housework. In other words, she is really a very suitable woman to marry. Want tea? Teacher Hiratsuka asked. She asked Oreki-san to sit on the sofa. What drinks are in the refrigerator? Oreki-san asked. Let me think about it. There is some wine, but you can't drink it. As for drinks, the only thing is coconut water. There are quite a lot of teas, including oolong tea, rock tea, rattan tea, Dahongbao, etc. Then coconut water, Oreki-san said. This is simpler. Hiratsuka Shizuka quickly served him coconut juice and also brought a fruit plate. Cut fruits cannot be stored for a long time, so this is what she prepared quickly just now. Her housework skills are genuine. Well, how should I say it? It was clear that he had proposed just now, but Hiratsuka Shizuka felt like it was unreal. You seem to have no interest in the luxury here, Hiratsuka Shizuka said. Because she noticed that Oreki-san behaved very calmly. This. Oreki-san said. I really don't have much interest in luxury houses and the like. Because you have proposed to me now, and if I agree, won't it also become mine? Why should you be interested in your own things, Oreki-san said. For it becomes his own thing, which means he tacitly agrees that it belongs to him. How shameless. But Hiratsuka Shizu felt like he couldn't refute. Ah. This is true. If you propose marriage by yourself, then doesn't it mean that you have to cry and get married by yourself? After marriage, everything will become the joint property of the couple. Well, then what you said is that you agreed, right? Hiratsuka Shizu said hesitantly. I agreed, Oreki-san said. Why else would I go home with you? I get chatted up by many beautiful older sisters outside, Oreki-san said. And these words seemed rather shameless. But only then did Hiratsuka Shizu look at Oreki-san seriously. In the past, because she insisted on her identity as a teacher, she had always restrained herself. He didn't even dare to take a serious look at the other person's appearance. Looking at it now, this guy is really handsome. With short black hair and dark green eyes, he is a very popular type among girls. Well, totally her type. And if such a handsome guy casually waves his hand, girls will indeed come up to him. Probably, even if Yangno saw it, he might have picked it up and got into the car. After all, Yangno is so stressed out, it is very possible to find a young boyfriend to relax and play with. After all, we came to the other party's home. Oreki-san thinks that he should do something politely. After all, in the precognitive dream, he was always the one being toyed with. Lawyer Horikita and big sister Ichi-Nose all bullied him who had less experience. But now there is a real big sister who seems to be able to take control of the situation. Then Oreki-san directly held her hand. Do what? Hiratsuka Shizu's cheeks instantly turned red. Because when Oreki-san held her hand, she felt her heart beating rapidly. The power of the handsome young man is really powerful. For a mature big sister like her, she can't handle it. Can't I hold you? Oreki said. You've already proposed. Hey. I know. Let me go quickly, she said. Then Xiaojing wants to take the initiative to do something to me, Oreki-san said. Well, we don't have status constraints now. Oreki-san said, so, you can do whatever you want. After all, I like you and you like me. Hiratsuka Shizuka. Well. This man is bad as hell. This is to confuse her. And how could she be bewitched? Kiss, can you kiss me a little bit? She asked tentatively. Okay, Oreki-san said, but I'm a newbie, so can I let you take the lead? Well. Xiaojing felt like her head was going to explode. But she is also a newcomer, how can you tell her to be careful? But she has also watched a lot of TV dramas, so she has never eaten pork but has seen pigs running, so she still has a little bit of confidence. Think so? She found herself suddenly caught by Oreki-san. I was joking with you just now, Oreki-san said. How can a handsome guy have no experience? Saying this, he gently touched the corners of her lips. Hiratsuka Shizu's eyes were full of astonishment. On the one hand, I was surprised by Oreki-san's gentleness and skill, and on the other hand, I was shocked. In other words, she actually got into a black car? Of course Oreki-san is not a shady person, at least he is still pure in this world. But, speaking of which, I finally have someone to rely on, but Harano is still alone, Hiratsuka Shizuka said suddenly. Hano, Oreki-san asked. Although he knew the name, Oreki didn't know Yuki Nashida Harano. Well, she is Yuki Nashida's sister. She is a student 2 years older than you. She just entered college this year, but that child is under a lot of pressure, Xiaojing said. Sometimes I worry that she will break. Is it? Then you care about Yuki Nashida Harano just like the original. Let's just say you two are friends. And thinking about it? Drop. Oreki-san heard the system beep. Congratulations to the host for triggering the hidden mission. Task requirement: find out the life experience of Yuki Nashida Harano. Task duration: 1 week. Task reward: telepathy. Telepathy, note, the function is to transmit one's thoughts and information to other creatures through the air. The information can be sounds, images, etc., which can be controlled. The upper limit of the transmission range is unknown. It is currently unknown that any substance or energy can block this ability. The shortcomings are temporary: none. Task penalty: none. Oreki. Originally, it was said that Mr. Hiratsuka's wish would be fulfilled, and then he could leave. But look now. Still need to bother me. Harano studied at a national university, the same school that Oreki was recommended to. But he didn't go to study, he probably went to get the name of a master's disciple, so that he could sell it at a high price when he paints in the future. This is very realistic. But you can take advantage of it now. So, Chapter 374, Target Yuki Nashida Harano. Oreki-san is sending a message to the president of the National University. Ask the other party to help arrange to join Yuki Nashida Yano's class. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 787. In other words, it is like a transfer student. After all, if you want to complete the task, you must get close to the target person. But I'm also a little curious. Because investigating Yuki Nashida Yano's life experience, is there any deviation in this life experience? There must be something wrong. Fine, but welcome to National University. The principal is still very polite. The next day soon came. Oreki-kun, do you need me to send someone to pick you up? I'm almost there, no need to bother. Oreki-san sent the message. The other party quickly called directly. Ask again if you need to pick up the message. This was probably because the principal wanted to call from the beginning, but seemed to be a little cautious, so he sent a message to confirm his mood before calling. This principal is also a bit too polite. Therefore, Oreki-san did not continue to drag, but after confirming the location, he waited for the other party's car to arrive. Sobutaka at the same time. Dong dong. Iroha knocked on the door rhythmically. Come in. The female teacher who was checking her homework raised her head. Anyi Colorful Feather has already walked in the door obediently. But her expression was a little weird. Because the person who came to her today was none other than the female teacher who took away her PSP, Hiratsuka Shizuka. She used the coquettish method against Shizuka Hiratsuka and also used harassment. It's just that the other party stuck to the bottom line. Although he seems very strict, he may be a good teacher. Although I didn't achieve my goal, get the PSP back. But she still has a ruler in her heart. She saw Mr. Hiratsuka correcting the homework submitted by the students, and her profile could be seen from here. Although she doesn't dress up much, she can be found to have a very good foundation. Even without makeup, she still looks beautiful. This kind of beauty is probably pure natural beauty. There is no problem in terms of appearance. Even if she is standing with her brother, she will not feel that anyone is not worthy of the other. but it is indeed very strange. Because my brother's orientation is actually that of an older sister. She thought he would be the type who likes younger students. The chosen target happened to be Hiratsuka Shizuka. This is really true. I was thinking about some of these things. Ishiroha was thinking about the reason why he was pulled over by Hiratsuka Shizuka at this time. Could it be that? Teacher Hiratsuka. Oh, you're here. Hiratsuka Shizuka immediately turned around. First of all, I can't give you the PSP. Hearing this, Ishiki-chan immediately squatted down and started acting cute. Why? It's very simple. Didn't I tell you before? The exam is coming soon. So this kind of thing cannot be given to you. Besides, your brother thinks so too, Teacher Jing said. Oh. I mentioned my brother. Ishiroha was now completely sure that this difficult female teacher had agreed to the marriage proposal from Oreki's classmate's brother. Moreover, my brother did not come back last night. Cut. So. Ah. That's right. I want to bribe her. Hum. She must have been roped in now that she was being pulled over. I want to know various information about Oreki-san's brother from her. For example, what do you like, the food you like, the things you hate, etc. This kind of thing, as a sister, I have to protect it with death determination. Because this is a specialized training that every brother controller needs to do well. So it cannot be easily conquered. Then she saw Hiratsuka Shizu's expression remained unchanged. You should review carefully this time, Shizuka Hiratsuka said. As a substitute for sticking it out. I can buy you this game console. Shizuka Hiratsuka opened the interface of his mobile phone. That's the latest PSP that feels great in the hand, has absolutely no lag, and has a comfortable shape. Ah, this kind of thing. Isn't it completely irresistible? Sister-in-law. I can tell you anything you want to know about my brother. Ye colorful you immediately came up. National University is a local university in Chiba, but the distance from Oreki-san's home, Sobu High School, is nearly an hour's train ride away. And if you take a private car directly, it will take about 30–40 minutes. It's just that it's so close to Chiba, so Oreki-san was still a little surprised after entering the university's sign. Because it's beautiful. It is now May, but the cherry blossoms have not completely withered yet. There are pink cherry blossom petals on the ground and in the sky, which has a unique beauty. The light aroma makes people feel relaxed and happy. Our school occupies a large area. A luxurious dining hall with 3 floors. Also the swimming pool is wide. And I participate in the night dance competition every year, and I won the runner-up last year. Also, the library has a collection of 5 million books, making all paper books available for electronic reading. The Inquiry of Literature Materials has also bought the use rights of NKI, Information Network, etc. all year round. This counselor named Matsumoto probably thinks that Oreki-san is the type who loves to learn. Therefore, we basically introduce the learning content and facilities. And Oreki-san couldn't tell him directly, don't do all this. He was just here to mess around and complete tasks, so he had no choice but to walk behind him. Fortunately, the counselor seems to be very busy at work, so Counselor Matsumoto cannot continue to introduce the campus to Oreki-san. Otherwise, Oreki-san's first experience of being given a campus tour would be taken away by a man. Call. Seeing Counselor Matsumoto walking in front, Oreki-san breathed a sigh of relief. Oreki-kun, welcome to National University. You are transferring to Class C of Clinical Medicine Major. Leading the way, when he reached the teaching building on the 2nd floor, Mr. Matsumoto suddenly turned around and said to Oreki-san, because your situation is very special. So joining in suddenly will probably make other students more interesting. They've been here for 2 months. So a lot of cliques formed. That is to say. Counselor Matsumoto thought carefully about his words, so, when you introduce yourself later, you can light it up a little so that everyone will remember it. In other words, you must have a very hot self-introduction. Is it burning enough to make the students forget about the small group formed for 2 months and then accept him? Oreki-san accepted. But the counselor, Mr. Matsumoto, showed a very puzzled expression. Why would Oreki-kun want to major in medicine? Of course, our medical major is ranked very high. But Oreki-kun was specially recruited because of his painting skills. I will receive individual instruction from Professor Sojiro in the future, Oreki said. And medicine is just a personal interest. Oh. That's it? Then it'll be fine. Mr. Matsumoto also knew that there was a quite famous painting professor in his school. So the goal of the other party coming here is to learn painting, but it is not a big problem if he is interested in participating in other majors. There is only one reason why Oreki-san is here and strangely joins the clinical medicine class. It's Yuki Nashida Yangno here. He is an energy-saving person, and the mission requirement is to explore Yangno's life experience. Naturally, he came to contact Yang now directly. It's really strange now. Because Yuki Nashida Yano was supposed to be the heir to the original Yuki Nashida family. However, I don't know what's wrong with Yano. She, the heir to the Yuki Nashida family, actually chose medicine. Certainly. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 788. No matter what major she studied, she would eventually go back and inherit the family business. And now, go see her. Oreki checked his phone. Because he contacted the principal early, he got information about the students in his new class. Class C, first year clinical medicine major. There are 80 students in this class. There are 77 Chiba residents here, and only 3 are from other prefectures. The local universities in each place have their own characteristics. People who are not top-notch in academic performance may obviously have a better choice, but they still like to stay in the local area. So this means that the people here are basically Chiba people. Because he had obtained enough information, Oreki-san was not panicked about the next greeting. However, universities do not have the targeted development that middle schools and high schools do. For example, the counselor's roster does not include the teacher's evaluation and analysis of the student, etc. This will also make the work direction of other teachers who come into contact with this roster clear and easy. So the counselor's roster is empty. And Oreki-san even doubted whether a counselor could identify all the students in the class one by one. It's just that this obviously has nothing to do with him. This is something that the counselor should be responsible for. And he also got the curriculum. College classes became easy. Basically every day I take a morning class, and then I have nothing to do in the afternoon, or I just take a class in the afternoon. Or there is no class for 2 days. At the same time, there is no compulsory accommodation for students, so only 6 out of 80 people in the entire class live on campus. Oreki-san was sorting out this information, and the counselor, Mr. Matsumoto, suddenly opened the door. Oreki-kun, you can come in, he said. Oh. Oreki-san stayed outside and actually listened to the introduction inside. I knew that the counselor Matsumoto introduced his identity, and at the same time added the title of Little Prince of Painting, further studies, and so on. So let everyone think he is excellent. In fact, if you are not excellent, you are not qualified to enter the school at this time. However, other students were probably confused. Because such a person who is good at painting and even received special recruitment, ended up joining some kind of medical major when he came here. This is very strange. Oreki-san walked in and immediately felt a lot of eyes on him. This gaze is hot, confused, curious, and prying. All kinds of things. An ordinary person would probably be very nervous, but I'm sorry, Oreki-san has had the experience of having two girlfriends who were both student council presidents, and also has the experience of being the student council president himself, so he doesn't have stage fright. Moreover, the quality of students here is much worse than that of Yuchin High School. So he was very calm inside. But so many people are looking over now. In other words, Ms. Yuki Nashida Harano is also looking at him now. Think so? Oreki-san decided to make a more heated introduction. I am Houtarou Oreki. I just graduated from Sobu High School. Like medicine. So thank you to the school for giving me such an opportunity. I hope we can get along well with everyone. Ah. Is this a very hot self-introduction? Teacher Matsumoto was shocked. But he quickly took the lead in applauding. The students looked at Oreki-san curiously, and then they also clapped. Judging from the applause, this is probably pretty exciting. And Oreki has already met the target person. She was born quite cute. She has straight black hair, which is not very long and only reaches her shoulders. The ends are burgundy. There is a very striking feeling. Wearing a white shirt with a knee-length black skirt. She has the air of a fresh female college student. Her eyes were slightly blue, which was a colder color, but she had a smiling expression on her face. It suddenly makes people feel close. This is the real Yuki Nashida Harano. This morning's meeting was just a class meeting, which is not usually needed. Today's gathering is here because teacher Matsumoto informed us that the genius student will be transferred here. Yes. They received a call 2 days ago that a painting genius would be transferred to their class. He is also a junior student at Sobu High School, the alma mater of some students. It is very curious why a junior student who is a genius in the field of painting would want to come to the medical school. Therefore, after Mr. Matsumoto allowed free movement, genius was immediately surrounded. These classmates were talking all over the place. Oreki-kun, I am also a Sobu master. I am your senior. I wonder if teacher Hiratsuka is married, but she is actually a good teacher. Oreki-san. Oreki-san. The scene became very heated at one point. But here it is very different from the ordinary self-introduction. As long as you have something hard here, even if the first impression is a bit strange, the other person will still care about you. Although Oreki-san is dealing with these ordinary classmates, he is also focusing on his own goals. Hiroyuki under the snow. She behaved like ordinary classmates and became enthusiastic. It seems that she is also very interested in him. Also added is the ability to obtain information about Oreki-san. However, her topics were somewhat cheerful. For example, she wanted to know about Oreki-san's love history. The girls present were instantly inspired by her, and even the boys started to cheer. Oreki-san had no choice but to move out that he came here to pursue the teacher he liked and get rid of the teacher-student relationship with her. So inspiring. Ah! If you had said this earlier, it would have ignited. The boys seemed very interested. It seems that the first impression was made well. Oreki-san thought. Chapter 375 I am not your enemy. Well, there are no classes in the morning, Oreki-kun, how about we take you to visit the school? Speaking of which, we are both students at Sobu High School. Let's have a meal together later, Yuki Nashida Harano suggested. When Harano said this, the circle of students surrounding Oreki-san began to waver, and several students came closer. The high schools of these students are all Sobu High School. In other words, it's the seniors. In other words, they were students at Sobu High School last year. So he was extremely enthusiastic. Oreki-san agreed wholeheartedly. At the same time, he was actually observing Yang Na just now. If Yang Na didn't come close, then he would have to try to get closer. So now she takes the initiative to approach, which saves her time. According to the information currently available, Miss Harano has a good relationship with some of her old classmates from Sobu High School. At the same time, her relationship with her new classmates is also very good. In such a big school, Yangno is very popular. During the visit to the school, Oreki-san was counting calmly. The classmates greeted her 99 times, and the teacher greeted her 7 times. The teacher saw her and praised her 5 times, and her classmates thanked her for her previous help, and went out together, etc., 22 times. At the same time, it also brought the old classmates together tightly. This is probably the level of communication skills of Ichinose and Kushida. Both Ichinose and Ika Kushida have a communication skills, which is enough to show that Yuki Nashida Harano is very good. In addition, his emotional intelligence, academic ability, physical fitness, and learning ability are all quite excellent. If he were in Yuchin High School, he would definitely be a class A student. Moreover, according to the content of the original work, her flaw is about inheriting the family business, so there is no flaw in the training high school. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 789. Well, see you this afternoon. Harano and the seniors from Sobu High School greeted Oreki-san. They visited the school together, and then spent a while in the library. The two classmates seemed to want to question why this junior could be specially recruited, and then they were a little unconvinced and wanted to test Oreki-san, but in the end they got the other student. Casual yet amazing painting. So I left embarrassed. The others accompanied Oreki-san to the cafeteria. The third floor is the teacher's cafeteria, but if students are willing to spend money, they can also go to the third floor. So a few people had dinner together on the third floor. Contact information was also exchanged. Then, Yuki Nashida Harano waved to Oreki-san. She was quite busy and seemed to have been called away. Goodbye. Oreki-san looked at his cell phone, which contained the cell phone numbers of the seniors and seniors in the same field. There is also a phone number marked as Yuki Nashida Harano Arita. This is her cell phone number. And as if to give Oreki-san a sense of belonging, she also created a new chat group and asked Oreki-san to join it. It can be said that Yang Nai's consideration is very thoughtful. On the one hand, it allows the newcomer Oreki-san to feel the warmth of being taken care of, and at the same time, it also gives other seniors the opportunity to get in touch with him. However, this new group chat is just a new group chat. They should have their own exclusive group chat. This is to prevent new people from coming in and ruining their relationship. So it's just a way to win over people. And these were all taught to him by Kushida. In short, overall, Yuki Nashida Harano's performance is quite good and gives people a good impression. But if you want to obtain or find out her life experience, you have to contact her. Oreki-san glanced at the system's task progress. Congratulations to the host for triggering the hidden mission. Task requirement: find out the life experience of Yuki Nashida Harano. Task duration: 1 week. Task reward: telepathy. Task penalty: none. Mission progress: 0%. As expected of the big devil in the original work, he is relatively difficult to deal with. We obviously met each other, but the progress at that time was 0. There was no fluctuation at all. Oreki noticed that his phone was vibrating and found that it was a number that had been saved just 2 days ago. It was taught by Sujiro from National University, who was good at painting. Oreki was able to enter this university thanks to his help. But there is no time to talk to him yet. So Oreki-san quickly replied that he had some urgent matters to deal with, and he would pay her a visit then, so he ended it first. After all, people outside the task are just tool people. With this in mind, Oreki-san decided to go find Miss Yuki Nashida Harano. She was showing kindness now, so she could easily get in touch with her, and then find out the situation at her home. She just walked to the shoe cabinet and suddenly stopped. Yakosita-san. Please date me. There was a sound not far away. Yakosita-san, I'm sorry for asking you out at this time. But, I can no longer control my admiration. Yakosita-san, I like you. Please date me. Oreki-san noticed the sound of someone talking in front of him, and when he looked there, he saw two people standing there. One boy and one girl. The boy is not tall enough, but he is very delicate. At the same time, his eyes are firm and his pupils are about to transform into love. This is a sign of liking someone. As for the girl, she is Ms. Yukinashita Harano, who was separated not long ago. She is a beautiful big sister. Sweet looking and good taste at the same time. So it's normal for this kind of girl to encounter someone confessing her love to her. Preliminary judgment is that this should be an ongoing confession scene. I hope you can agree to be my girlfriend. I want to take you into Koshin. The boy's expression became more serious. Koshin, he seems to be a sports type of boy. But isn't this an opportunity to get closer to Yukinashita Harano? Help the other person out, then have dinner together, and then find out the other person's information. Think so? Oreki-san knocked on the shoe cabinet 3 times rhythmically as if knocking on a door. The sound was immediately transmitted to the two people standing in the corner. The boy still lowered his head, hoping to get a reply from Yangno. So when I saw someone coming, I quickly raised my head. Then, I will go back first, and I will wait for your reply. This kid who plays baseball and wants to go to Koshin seems a little panicked. Quickly retreat directly in front of Yangno. Then he trotted past Oreki-san and left. I don't think it's necessary. Oreki-san held his wrist. Oreki-kun Harano also saw Oreki-san. At the same time, Harano was still murmuring Oreki-san's name. Oreki-kun, the baseball player suddenly turned around. Are you the specially recruited Oreki-kun? Oreki-san glanced lightly at Harano. He didn't think Yangno was a person who liked to talk nonsense. In other words, she must have purposefully mentioned his name in front of this baseball boy. Yes, it's that Oreki-san. Yano explained directly to Oreki-san, it's the one advertised in the school. It's very powerful. She seemed to have emphasized the words very powerful. I see. The baseball boy seemed to be very disappointed. Then trotted away. Oreki-san looked at Harano at this time. Yangno seemed to be stunned for a moment. But she has a strong ability to respond randomly. I was just sorry. She apologized quickly. Big Tiger has been pursuing me recently, so I just used you as a shield, she said. Because Oreki-san's behavior just now showed that she saw through that she was using him as an excuse to reject the baseball boy. If you didn't see it, then it wouldn't matter, but the other party saw it, so Yangno quickly apologized. He is a person who reacts extremely quickly. Oreki-san updated his evaluation of her. But now it is obvious that the two of them are entangled, so they can further obtain each other's information. Are you sure it's just this time? Oreki-san asked. Yang-nai. The smile on Yukinashita Yano's face faded slightly. Yukinashita Yano is a very good-looking girl. Whether it's her exquisite facial features, sparkling eyes, or the kind and lovely smile that always appears on her face, it makes people want to get close to her. But what's attractive about her is not only her face, her temperament, but also the serious eyes that look at you when she listens to you, and she nods from time to time to show that she is listening carefully. This atmosphere makes people feel very comfortable. Yes. Even with Oreki-san, who has a very remote relationship with passers-by, you can feel that as long as you talk to her, the distance that is called protection between people does not exist. In other words, this is an affinity attack. The level of Archangel Ichi knows. Is this an ordinary store? Okay. Oreki-san said. Ah, of course, I like McDonald's too. Ms. Harano showed a friendly smile. Doesn't refuse. It should be said that you should refuse at this time. How can you just finish your meal at noon and then bring someone over to continue eating? If one dares to take it, the other will dare to follow it out to eat. It is indeed very powerful. Oreki-san looked at Miss Harano calmly. Yuki Nashida Yano looks from the original work. She is the sister of the heroine Yukino. She has shouldered the responsibility of her sister since she was a child and became the heir to the Yuki Nashida family. He sacrificed a lot for this, and even kept playing a false version of himself in order to live a life worthy of the name Yunashida Yano. Even when I was studying in my youth, I always put the words Yuki Nashida Yano at the top. The high school where Yuki Nashida Harano attends needs her to be a dazzling presence. Then she has to become a dazzling presence. Let her get close to people, have many friends, and let everyone grow together, then everyone must grow together. Playing such a role, she has always been a troublemaker beside the protagonist, but the ultimate goal is to let her sister grow up. It can be said that one person is very good at singing. And this is the impression she gave people in the original work. And Oreki also remembered the evaluation of Harano in the original novel. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 790. Hano has always been worried about inheriting the family business for the past 20 years, she has been playing the role of an heir worthy of the name Yuki Nashida. So I have never had youth, and I have no hope for my future. And now it turns out that she is indeed an actress named Yuki Nashida Harano. And Oreki-san was watching her acting. And Yang Nai. Yang Nai. Her lips opened slightly. In fact, she was a little surprised inside. Because Oreki-san behaves a little differently from everyone she has met in the past. I always feel, as if it's easy to see through her acting skills. Oreki-san could feel that Harano was looking at him with prying eyes. Probably because he felt that her disguise didn't work on him. Of course it doesn't work, Oreki-san knows very well what Harano-san is like. In addition, although Harano is powerful, she is still a little far away from the little angel Kushida. Little angel Kushida forced herself to become a certain easygoing person. And it doesn't contain acting elements. And Yang Nai has an element of acting here. He observes the target and then estimates how to act. That is, with a touch of people-pleasing. But now, Yang No deliberately didn't speak, just to take care of his emotions and want to get information from him. First of all, I am not your enemy, Oreki-san said directly. Not, the enemy. Well, what does this mean? Yang No didn't understand what he meant. Call. Oreki-san sighed softly, it seems I was not informed, Oreki-san said. This made Yang No even more confused. Then I found Oreki-san with his hands on the table. Let me introduce myself again, Oreki-san said. I came from Sobu High School, and in order to pursue a certain female teacher and save her future, I skipped a grade and came to university. And who do you think this female teacher is? Yang Nai. Harano glanced at Oreki-san, are you talking about Xiao Jing? Yes, it's Jinkia. If it wasn't Jinkia, why would I skip a grade? Because she has this value, Oreki-san said. Yang Nai. Yang Nai. Harano slightly opened her pupils, and then looked at Oreki-san. If she understood the name Shizuokai correctly, then it should be Shizuka Hiratsuka. Xiaojing, Jinkia, this was her female teacher in high school, and she was also called a friend. Someone she could talk to. Then, is this Shizukai being pursued crazily by the Oreki Jr. in front of her? Harano became friends with Shizuka Hiratsuka because Shizuka Hiratsuka was the first person to see through her. At the same time, I sympathize with her, but I won't say empty words like I will help you. Because both she and Xiaojing knew that given Yang Nai's family situation, Yang Nai could only do this. So Xiaojing's choice is to guard Yang No silently. When Yang No can't stand it, she is willing to drink with her and listen to her worries and complaints. It can be said that it is someone you can talk to. Yang Nai was under a lot of pressure. She couldn't tell her parents about her situation, otherwise the responsibility would be placed on her sister. At the same time, she has been following this pattern for 20 years. If she resists, doesn't it mean that her 20 years of carefulness and using a hypocritical mask version to act out the life of a good kid that everyone likes are all in vain? Home address 376 Jongyuki Nashida Yona must be worried. I really didn't expect that dash. Oreki-kun actually wants to pursue Xiaojing. Yang Nai spoke. In fact, she somewhat trusts Oreki-san now. Because if Oreki-san hadn't been with Xiaojing, and then Xiaojing knew about her side of things, otherwise he wouldn't have been able to notice what kind of person she was in an instant. So, was she actually feeling sympathy for this Oreki-san? In other words, a boy younger than him knew everything. I feel a little bit ashamed. Xiao Shizu is cute. Oreki-san opened the ketchup brought by the clerk. Dip a little with fries. But didn't eat. So I think it's normal that I would like her. She is pretty and smells good. Especially since her current grade is not the same as mine, Oreki-san said. But the expression of Yuki Nashida Yano, who was sitting opposite him, changed slightly. Because. No. Yang No took back what she just said. Just now she thought that Oreki-san might have noticed Xiaojing's gentleness and beautiful side and fell in love with her. But. What does it mean that Xiaojing's grade is not equal to yours? Are you the type who likes big sisters? So you are now. Yang No decided to get a little more information. We already have an intimate relationship, Oreki-san said. Yang Nai. Is it too late? Ah. Jinkia's weakness is this. She is of marriageable age or even older, so she has little resistance to marriage. That's why people get fooled so easily. So you proposed to her? Yang No asked again. Proposed? Oreki-san nodded. Yang Nai. Really? Xiaojing can't resist the temptation of getting married. Yang Nai felt that she had been studying hard for the exam these days, and then she didn't contact Xiaojing much, so she didn't even know what happened to Xiaojing, and she felt regretful. Hello, your meal has been delivered. At this time, the waiter brought Yang No's order. But Yang No was rubbing her temples with her white hands. I feel very troubled. Because she felt that she didn't have the only friend who could save her. Xiaojing fell too fast. But it can't be said that it's completely impossible. Because if the target is very good, it's okay. Oreki-san, on the other hand, skipped a grade. At the same time, in order to avoid a teacher-student relationship with Xiaojing, I jumped directly to the next level. There are only a handful of men who can be so considerate. Moreover, the other party is a special admissions student. If there is no very good prospect, the school will not allow it. Therefore, the other party's painting skills should be evaluated, and it should not be difficult to make a living based on this in the future. At the same time, the major of clinical medicine is also chosen at will. In the future, even if you don't develop your career in painting, you can still become a medical student. The prospect of becoming a doctor is quite good. It goes well with Xiaojing. Just this kind of person. Will she really be kind to Xiaojing? It's just that Xiaojing can tell this Oreki-kun everything about her, which means that he should be relatively reliable. Think so? She heard the other person's voice. Don't talk about my side of things. Actually, I chose clinical medicine because of you, Yuki Nashida Yano-kun. Me, Yang Nai blinked. On the one hand, Xiaojing's friend is you. So I hope I can get some of Xiaojing's preferences from you and give her a surprise. Oh. Then she heard Oreki-san continue. Next is Miss Yuki Nashida Harano. I want to get to know your family and your parents. So please help me connect. Matchmaking. Yang Nai is puzzled. No, my parents.